Hello, everyone. It is Wednesday night, and we are back at the Cobblestone Hotel for another amazing episode of Music Talks. As always, I am your host, Chelsea Rittenauer. A special thank you to Rick Fike, the man behind the camera, and the whole reason we're even here for this show to begin with, and to Macaulay Jones of Mackie Music Studios, providing us with all of our sound needs for our musicians here and for you, the listeners out there. So our featured guest this week is jazz singer-songwriter Mr. Sam Brooks. Hello, Sam.
Hi, Chelsea. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for coming. We really appreciate it. So let's jump into this.
Okay.
I know you on a personal
Yes.
level, but I don't quite know the beginning of the story. So I would love for you to take me back. How did your whole musical journey begin?
Well, it began when I was maybe about 4 or 5 years old. I have a very big family. The Brooks family is very big. My dad had 8 siblings, and my mom has 2 siblings. So we're a huge family, very musical family. And we, at the holidays, at Christmas time, we would have what we called the Brooks Family Talent Show. Yes, so all the kids from my generation, would get up and do some sort of talent. And I have this cousin, Stephen Brooks, who was a fantastic piano player. And I'll never forget one Christmas for the Brooks Family Talent Show, he sat down and played this incredible Bach or Chopin piece. And I just remember seeing it and hearing it and just being in awe of his talent and being like, Mom and Dad, I have to do that.
Have to play that.
Yes. So I had to beg for piano lessons. And so about 5 or 6 years old, they put me in piano, and I started studying with Phyllis Koval in Connellsville. So, yeah. So that's sort of how music in general got started.
Okay, so now let's fast forward to the high school years. Were you in the musicals in high school? Did you consider yourself a vocalist or a pianist? What was it?
So it's funny. So freshman year of high school, I was playing basketball. I really wasn't thinking much about
You're
music.
tall. That makes sense.
I was okay. But later on, I did find out I was much better at music than basketball. But I'll never forget sophomore year of high school at Geibel. I went to Geibel. And my brother, who you wouldn't necessarily think was the most musical person, was auditioning for 42nd Street at Geibel. Mr. Bell, it was like maybe his first or second year at Geibel at that time. Mr. Bell was a huge influence, by the way, on my music. And I will never forget my brother Tony going down to get the to the chorus room to get the music for the audition. And I was like, what the heck is this? Like, Tony's singing? What is this? So I took the music too and started to sing the audition music and found out, hey, I'm not half bad at this. So I decided to audition for 42nd Street as well, and I got great feedback. I just got an ensemble role, but got great feedback, and I fell in love with it. I mean, some of my best memories are from those Geibel shows, and then I went on to do to get the lead in Footloose. And then in Fame after that.
Is it weird for you that they just repeated Footloose maybe 2 years ago?
It was a little bit weird. It was
like, you were kind of sad and excited at the
same
I'm waiting for them to do Peter Pan again at Connellsville.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
Please don't do it. Don't do it. But I'm gonna cry.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll get to this, but I actually had some vocal students. So I teach voice as well, and I had some vocal students in the Geibel production. So it like came full circle, like, well, okay, I was in this, now my students are in this. And actually Mr. Bell had us come in and do a little workshop. And we actually did a little duet, Almost Paradise, with the girl who played Ariel and myself. It was awesome. Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
So nice. So let's talk about vocals a little bit. Did you start taking voice lessons in high school, or did that not happen until the college years?
So, funny story, my parents really weren't into that. They really weren't like allowing me to take voice lessons. So, but my dad was a singer, and he had a music therapy degree from Duquesne. So he knew a little bit about vocal technique, so he would help me a little bit.
Okay.
So it wasn't really till college that, then I was on my own. I'm like, you know what? I need some vocal training. I'm going to do this for myself, So
All right, perfect segue into the college years. So I know you went to 3 different universities. We're going to hit onto all that. He has a very interesting journey because Sam is not just a musician. He also works in a chemistry lab.
I'm a chemist
He's
as well.
A chemist.
Yes.
So your original degree was at CMU, and it was for
Yes,
chemistry, correct?
That's correct.
Now, did you take any lessons while you were at CMU, or were you mostly focused on the chemistry?
So how this all happened was, I was really good at chemistry, right? And growing up in a small town, the arts are not necessarily supported or appreciated. And so it's like, Sam, you got to do something practical.
You need a real job.
You need a real job. So that's how that happened. And I was really good at chemistry. I had a great chemistry teacher, Mr. Bloom at Geibel, who was also another influence on my life. So it made sense for me to go into chemistry. And I thought, well, maybe I'd be a doctor one day, something like that. But being on stage, there's just nothing else like it.
But the chemistry wasn't quite enough.
It wasn't enough. So I did. CMU has a great music program.
Yes,
I know you went there.
Yeah.
They have one of the best in the country. So I did take advantage of voice lessons there, and I took music and piano and private voice.
Were you in the classical music department like myself, or did you take lessons from the musical theater department? Because they're 2 different entities at CMU for those that don't know out there.
Yes, that's right. I was in the classical department.
Awesome. So you were like in my domain.
Yeah, I was in that the fine arts
the
building.
School, yes.
Yeah,
Which is a
beautiful
building.
building.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So, but like I was saying, I really just wanted to finish the chemistry sort of for my parents, also to have something to fall back on.
Absolutely.
But the bug was too strong for the music, so I quickly finished that degree in 3 years, and then
You finished that in 3 years.
I did.
At CMU.
I did, yeah.
Ooh, high five, man. I didn't know that.
I had no social life, so
I really don't either.
but it was worth it.
Yeah.
So.
All right. How long did you wait until you went to Berkeley next? Was it directly after, or did you wait?
It was more or less directly. So
Okay.
I had like 1 semester of downtime before I went to Berklee College of Music in Boston. And the reason I chose that school was because at that time I was doing more jazz and contemporary music.
So that was my question. And for those, once again, out there watching that don't quite know. So CMU has the classical music department. They have musical theater, but they don't quite do much as far as like jazz and contemporary. Berkeley, on the other hand, is it primarily a jazz school, or what is their focus as far as music and vocals?
So Berklee began as a jazz school.
That's what I thought.
It was a place for professional musicians to go and hone their craft, because there was really no standard for jazz harmony, theory.
No.
You
just did it.
Right. And so Berklee was one of the first places they started to, okay, we're going to have a technique to this, writing down the theory and the harmony and all of that. And so that's how it started. But in recent years, it's become more of a sort of pop, contemporary singer-songwriter type school.
What was going on?
It was both.
Oh,
so
you got a bit of
there's
both.
still a huge jazz
Right.
pool there. You have to, whether you're a rock singer or a heavy metal singer, you still have to study jazz. So that's the fundamentals of Berklee. So I got that jazz training, and it helped, especially help with my piano playing skills, like big time.
Yeah.
And also just my musicianship in general. That's probably the biggest thing I got from Berklee was the musicianship, the piano. Singing, not so much.
So you said you decided on Berklee because of the jazz influence.
Yes.
And I know you're known in this area as like the go-to jazz guy. Were you always into jazz? I mean, was it always jazz, or how did that whole thing happen?
So, no, I guess it wasn't always jazz. I think with high school, it sort of started out as musical theater.
Of course.
But growing up, my grandfather, especially on my mom's side of the family, my grandpap Toulouse, he would play old records in the house all the time, even from when I was a little kid. And we're a very big Italian family. We got a lot of Italian pride. So he always played the old Italian singers like Louis Prima and Frank Sinatra and Dean Martin and some of the other crooners too, like Nat King Cole and Mel Torme. I grew up with that. Yeah. And I realized sort of, in my later teenage years that I sing those songs pretty well.
It works.
And my voice sort of lent itself to that sort of crooning style. And that's sort of how that started.
That's what led you to Berkeley. Mm-hmm. All right, now let's talk after Berkeley. You went to NYU.
I did.
Correct. How long in between did you go directly after Berkeley? What did you study there?
So I think it was one semester as well. So there was because I finished Berkeley in the fall semester. Mm-hmm. So I had that winter semester that I had a little bit of a break, and then I moved to New York for that following fall to pursue a master's in vocal performance with a concentration in music theater.
Gotcha.
And the reason NYU happened was the vocal training at Berkeley wasn't really, there were more style teachers there, more like coaches, I would say. Whereas NYU is more of a traditional conservatory setting where you got the vocal training and the acting training and all of that. It was a little more focused, and that was by far my favorite. So of the three schools, NYU was the best experience and the most rewarding and the most progress, I would say.
Awesome. So you were there for 2 years, correct?
A 2-year program.
And you received your master's.
Yes.
In vocal performance.
Vocal performance.
With a concentration on musical theater.
That's correct.
Lovely. So now let's talk New York. You were gigging a lot throughout New York, correct?
So
tell me about the New York scene.
Yeah, it's tough. And I think you're aware of that.
Well,
so
New York,
it's expensive. It's a love-hate. Everyone who lives there has a love-hate.
100%.
And I can't say that I don't miss it. I miss it every day. But there are also a lot of things I don't miss.
Yes.
Like space, a room that's bigger than a closet,
So paying a lot for rent.
Yeah, $2,000 for a studio that's the size of the space we're talking in right now.
But you young ones, you should totally go move to New York. If you're an artist, you
do it while you're young.
You have to go to New York or over to California for a while. Otherwise, I feel like you're not a true musician, honestly. But anyways, back to you.
Yeah, so I tried the audition scene. It's tough. Yeah. I think you know.
I do.
The pay is not good.
No.
And it's grueling.
Yeah.
So I did some off-Broadway things. Mm-hmm. I did some jazz gigs, and I also taught voice. I taught voice out of this tiny little studio apartment I was teaching with my lofted bed and my little 2-burner kitchen.
Did you have a fridge?
I had a dormitory style fridge, the little square.
Gotta love it. Love it.
Yeah, it was. I will never do that again. My windows were barred. It was no air conditioning. Yeah, it was an experience. It was an experience, and I don't regret it for a minute.
No.
I'm thankful for that experience.
Yeah. 100%. 100%. All right, so let's talk about you coming back here. So you came back here. I know you have a voice studio. You're out gigging. You've had a band. You've recorded an EP or an album. Mm-hmm. Take me back to when you first came back into the area.
So, like I said, it was getting to be very expensive and very stressful living in New York City. And actually myself and a couple other local musicians from Connellsville that I also grew up with, like Levi Graft and Stephen Gallo and Patrick Kelly, I came back and started doing some gigs with them on weekends. Mm-hmm. And actually we were playing up at 30 East Main, which is now Maryland's on Main, in Uniontown, doing New Year's gigs and some fundraising events and things like that. So I started, when I was in, doing gigs here and getting paid a lot more here.
Is that crazy?
I know. Mm-hmm. New York does not pay.
No, they don't.
So that's sort of how that started. I started doing jazz music with a trio quartet in, sort of the southwestern Pennsylvania area. Yeah. And it sort of took off. People started getting to know my name around here
Right.
and booking me, and it just made sense for me to come back.
I understand that.
Yeah.
Totally.
And plus, I love my family and I miss my family. Yeah. So
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So before we get into the album, let's talk about teaching really quickly. You and I
Yes.
both teach. And
Yes.
the whole game. But I want to talk about your studio, kind of your outlook on teaching, what
Yeah.
you do, when you teach, how people can get in touch with you. Take it away.
I'm a total vocal technique nerd. Like
too.
total. Like we could
we've
just
geeked
talk.
out
I know
on
we've like
so many times.
how many hours have we wasted just talking
a lot,
about
people, A lot. Talk about technique for fun.
it? Yeah. Only voice teachers get that.
Yeah.
It turns everybody else off, but but it's fun. I love it. So I'm super passionate about technique, and also because I struggled a lot with my voice. It took a lot for me to get where I am technique-wise, and I want to help my students not make the same mistakes as me.
Yes.
So I'm super passionate about teaching. I teach a certain technique that's called speech level singing.
Yes.
So basically, in a nutshell, without getting too
Yeah.
nerdy, singing should be as effortless as speech.
Yeah.
Whether you're in the bottom of your range or whether you're in the top of your range. And this technique honestly changed my life. Actually, the founder of this technique, Seth Riggs, he's out in LA. He was Michael Jackson's coach and Stevie Wonder's
Yeah.
coach, Ray Charles, Barbra Streisand, the list goes on. And I got to work with him personally, and I got to join his organization.
Cool.
And that's sort of how, I became this big
It clicked.
vocal technique guy. And it clicked for me. I suddenly had high notes that I never had before. I was singing louder and with more power and with more freedom than I ever had before. And I want to impart that onto my students.
Yeah. So where do you teach, and how can people get in touch with you?
So I have a private studio here in Connellsville on the west side. I also teach over Skype or FaceTime. And you can reach me on my website, www.sam-brooks.com. All the information is on there. If you're interested in lessons, you can give me a call. You can send me an email. Also, sambrooksjams@gmail.com if you prefer email.
Awesome.
And you can reach out to me if you're interested in lessons.
Perfect. The website is the perfect segue. Let's talk about the album, because I know the album is available on your website.
Yes, the album is available on my website and also on all the platforms like iTunes, Amazon, Google Play, and also it's streaming on Spotify as well.
Awesome.
So yeah, I did an album, actually an EP, a couple years back with a collection of jazz standards, but we put our own spin on them. There's a little bit of funk, a little bit of pop, a little bit of smooth jazz. So
right.
it's not your typical cocktail jazz.
Right.
It's sort of
Amped up.
amped up a little bit, exactly. And you can purchase that on iTunes, or you can find more info on my website.
So you're in the process of recording a new album.
Yes, that's
Essentially.
correct.
Give me a little bit of info and tell me when that's
So-
going to drop.
So I'm looking to sort of, now I love jazz. That's always going to be like my core.
Right.
The American Songbook, those songs are timeless, beautiful harmonies. That's always going to be part of me. But I'm looking to branch out a little bit more,
Okay.
cross over a little bit. So this next sort of endeavor is going to be a little more contemporary, a little bit more accessible to a wider audience,
Okay.
and it will be original songs.
Oh,
so I'm
nice.
collaborating with some songwriters in Nashville at the
Okay.
moment, and working with a producer, Brian Cole, who's local in the McKeesport area.
Nice.
And we're working on some singles that will eventually become an album.
Great. And when do you think some of these singles will drop?
Looks like winter of 2020. Yeah.
I like
so
it.
fairly soon. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're
keep
looking
your
at-
eyes open for
yeah.
that, everybody. All right, let's talk about right now. What are you doing right now?
So
So,
doing a lot.
Yeah.
I'm doing a lot of things, and I'm excited about that. So right now I was cast in Mamma Mia at this state theater in Uniontown.
Is this your first musical in a while?
This is my first musical since New York City. So I heard they were doing Mamma Mia. I heard John Wagner was doing it, incredible director. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to
Why not?
get back into this. That's another love of mine is musical theater. I have a lot of training in that. And I want to keep my chops up. You know, I want to be able to still do that, but also still do the jazz and the contemporary and, you know, keep
A little bit of
keep
everything.
a little bit of everything. That's right.
Is there anything else you'd like to add before we wrap it up?
That's about it. I just want to thank you so much for having me.
pleasure.
This was such an honor. And also, you can like me on Instagram, the Sam Brooks. And then you can also find me on Facebook as well.
Perfect. Well, everyone, let's get to the good stuff. Let's get to the music. We'll be right
All right.
back after
Can't
this
wait.
break.
What's on tonight?
Hello, everyone, and welcome back. I am very excited to hear the music of jazz singer-songwriter Mr. Sam Brooks. Take it away, my friend.
Someday, when I'm awfully low and the world is cold, I will feel a glow just thinking of you and the way you look tonight. But you're lovely with your smile so warm and your cheeks so soft. There is nothing for me but to love you just the way you look tonight. With each word your tenderness grows, tearing my fears apart. And that laugh that wrinkles your nose touches my foolish heart. Lovely, don't you ever change. Keep that breathless charm. Oh, won't you please arrange it? 'Cause I love you just the way you look tonight. With each word your tenderness grows, tearing my fears apart. And that laugh that wrinkles your nose touches my foolish heart. Lovely, don't you ever change. Keep that breathless charm. Won't you please arrange it? 'Cause I love you just the way you look tonight. Just the way you look tonight. Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm Sam Brooks, and it is such an honor to be here tonight. Just want to thank Chelsea Rittenauer for having me here. And I want to take a minute to thank my piano player, Joe DeFazio. He's one of the best in Pittsburgh. I only hire the best. So this next song is one of the songs off of my EP, and it's by a composer by the name of Cole Porter, and it is called Love for Sale. And this song, it was a little racy back in the day when Cole Porter wrote this. I think you'll see what I mean when we start. All right. For sale, appetizing young love for sale, love that's fresh and still unspoiled, love that's only slightly soiled, love for sale. Who will buy? Who would like to sample my supply? Who's prepared to pay the price for a trip to paradise? Love for sale. Let the poets pipe of love in their childish way. I know every type of love better far than they. If you want the thrill of love, I've been through the mill of love. Oh, love, new love, any love but true love, love for sale. Appetizing young love for sale. If you wanna buy my wares, follow me and climb the stairs, love for sale. The poets pipe of love in their childish way. I know every type of love better far than they. If you want the thrill of love, I've been through the mill of love. Oh, love, new love, every love but true love for sale. Appetizing young love for sale. If you wanna buy my wares, follow me and climb the stairs, love for sale, love for sale, love for sale. Thank you, thank you. All right, this next number is going to be a ballad. It's called You Go to My Head. I hope you enjoy it. To my head and you linger like a haunting refrain, and I find you spinning round in my brain like the bubbles in a glass of champagne. You go to my head like a sip of sparkling burgundy brew, and I find the very mention of you like the kicker in a julep or two. The thrill of the thought that you might give a thought to my plea cast a spell over me. Still I say to myself, get a hold of yourself. Can't you see that this never can be? You go to my head with a smile that makes my temperature rise like a summer with 1,000 Julys. You intoxicate my soul with your eyes, though I'm certain that this heart of mine hasn't a ghost of a chance in this crazy romance. You go to my head. The thrill of the thought that you might give a thought to my plea cast a spell over me. Still I say to myself, get a hold of yourself. Can't you see that this never can be? You go to my head with a smile that makes my temperature rise like a summer with 1,000 Julys. You intoxicate my soul with your eyes, though I'm certain that this heart of mine hasn't a ghost of a chance in this crazy romance. You go to my head. Thank you. Thank you. have often walked down the street before, but the pavement always stayed beneath my feet before. All at once am I several stories high, knowing I'm on that street where you live. Are there lilac trees in the heart of town? Can you hear a lark in any other part of town? Does enchantment pour out of every door? No, it's just on the street where you live. And oh, the towering feeling just to know somehow you're near. The overpowering feeling that any second you may suddenly appear. People stop and stare, baby, they don't bother me, for there's nowhere else on earth that I would rather be. Let the time go by, I don't care if I can be here on the street where you live. And oh, the towering feeling just to know somehow you are near. The overpowering feeling that any second you may suddenly appear. People stop and stare, honey, they don't bother me, for there's nowhere else on earth that I would rather be. Let the time go by, I don't care if I can be here on the street where you live. Can be here on the street where you live. Thank you so much. Thank you. So this next number is one of the songs made famous by Dean Martin. And I had mentioned a little bit earlier how we have a lot of Italian pride in my family. So this song was playing a lot. And I was heavily influenced by Dean Martin. And also Rosemary Clooney has a great version of this song as well. So I hope you guys enjoy it. A boy went back to Napoli because he missed the scenery, the native dances, and the charming songs. But wait a minute, something's wrong. 2, 3, 4. Mambo Italiano, hey mambo Italiano, go, go, go. Mixed up Siciliano, oh, you Calabrese do the mambo like a crazy with a hey mambo. Don't want a tarantella, hey mambo. No more mozzarella, hey mambo. Mambo Italiano, try the enchilada with the fish bacala. And hey Goomba, I love how you dance rumba, but take some advice, paisano, learn how to mambo. If you're gonna be a square, you ain't gonna go nowhere. Hey mambo, mambo Italiano, hey mambo, mambo Italiano, go, go, go. go. Mixed up Siciliano. And okay, so DJ, you get happy in the pizza when you mambo Italiano. You don't have to go to a school just to make it with a beat bambino. It's like a vino. Kid, you good at looking, but you don't know what you're cooking till you hey mambo, mambo Italiano, hey mambo, mambo Italiano, go, 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 shake like a Giovanna. Hey, okay, so DJ, you get happy in the feet, so when you mambo Italiano. Thank you so much. That's a fun one. All right. All right. So we're going to slow it down a little bit here with a ballad. Beautiful ballad. I think my favorite version of this song is by Nat Cole. And this is called When I Fall in Love. I hope you like it. When I fall in love, it will be forever. Or I'll never fall in love. In a restless world like this is, love has ended before it's begun, and too many moonlight kisses seem to cool in the warmth of the sun. If I give my heart, it will be completely, or I'll never give my heart. And the moment you can feel that, I feel that way too. That's when I'll fall in love with you. I give my heart, it will be completely. Or I'll never give my heart. And the moment you can feel that, I feel that way too. That's when I fall in love. That's when I fall in love. That's when I fall in love with you. Thank you. All right. I think we've got time for 2 more tunes here. So we're gonna update things a little bit, not too many decades ahead, but we got a oldie but a goodie here. This next one's by Billy Joel. She's got a way about her. Don't know what it is, but I know that I can't live without her. She's got a way of pleasing. Don't know what it is, but there doesn't have to be a reason anyway. She's got a smile that heals me. Don't know what it is, but I have to laugh when she reveals me. She's got a way about her. Don't know what it is, but I know that I can't live without her anyway. She comes to me when I'm feeling down, inspires me without a sound. She touches me and I get turned around. Whoa, whoa, whoa. She's got a smile that heals me. Don't know what it is, but I have to laugh when she reveals me. She's got a way about her. Don't know what it is, but I know that I can't live without her anyway. comes to me when I'm feeling down, inspires me without a sound. She touches me and I get turned around. Whoa, whoa, whoa. She's got a smile that heals me. Don't know what it is, but I have to laugh when she reveals me. She's got a way about her. Don't know what it is, but I know that I can't live without her anyway. Thank you so much. I think we have time for one more, and as promised, we're going to do a song from Mamma Mia, which is the production that I'm performing in next week at the State Theater in Uniontown, July 26th through the 28th. www.statetheater.info for tickets. Don't miss it. I'll be playing the role of Sam Carmichael, who is the potential father of the young girl Sophie. And this song is called Knowing Me, Knowing You. And in the play, Sam, who plays Sam, sings this song when he's sort of trying to talk the 20-year-old girl out of rushing into marriage, because love does not always end up happily ever after. So I hope you guys like it. Knowing me, knowing you. It's the best I can do. Thank you so much. Thank you, Chelsea.
Sam, Joe, thank you so very much for coming out tonight. You guys transported me to another time. Fabulous set. I loved it. I know the audience out there loved it. Yes. Round of applause for them. And I'm sure our audience next week watching on TV will absolutely love this as well. Next week, we are going to be back here at the Cobblestone. My good friend and pianist and songwriter Matt Klump is going to be here, and him and I are going to be debuting one of our original songs from our newly formed rock band Etheria, so it should be a fun time. He's going to play all kinds of different stuff. But once again, thank you to you two. Fabulous job. That's a wrap for tonight, and we'll see you next week. Bye, everyone.